Radio Mind.
The Vampire of Sacramento, they called him. His real name was Richard Trenton Chase, but that morbid moniker fit him like a bloody glove. I'd crossed paths with some real sickos in my day, but this guy took the cake and smeared it across the walls. In the span of a single month back in 1980, Chase went on a homicidal joyride that left 6 unlucky souls without a pulse in California. But it wasn't just killing that got his rocks off. This twisted man actually gulped down their blood and chowed down on their insides. Why'd he do it? Get this. The nut job thought the Nazis were out to poison him by slipping something sinister under his sink. Drinking the red stuff and eating those organs was his way of playing defense against those imaginary krauts. I've seen some gruesome work in my time, but even I had to take a stiff drink after hearing the grisly details on this one. Chase had it rough from the jump. Born in the 50s to a couple of hard cases, the kid took plenty of knuckle sandwiches from Pops. By his teens, he was using drugs and tormenting animals, a real sicko in the making. In high school, Chase sweet-talked a few ladies, but he couldn't rise to the occasion. A shrink figured he had serious anger or was a few fries short of a Happy Meal. Turns out the shrink was partly right. Normal sex did nothing for him. He only got his kicks by snuffing out animals and cozying up to corpses. They should have locked him up before he really went off the deep end. After flying the coop, the whack job moved back in with his dear old mom for a spell. Before long, Chase accused her of trying to pump him full of lead. His dad wised up and set him up in his own shoebox apartment to get him out of the house. Living alone sent Chase over the edge. He started snatching and killing any critter that crossed his path, cats, dogs, you name it, ripping them open and eating their insides raw. The sicko even made smoothies from their entrails, thinking it would keep his heart from shrinking. You can't make this stuff up. In 1975, Chase was institutionalized after injecting himself with rabbit's blood and being hospitalized. He escaped the mental institution and went to his mother's home, leading police to transfer him to an asylum for the criminally insane. At the asylum, Chase talked about killing rabbits and drinking their blood. Guards caught him killing birds and enjoying their essence, earning him the nickname Dracula. Despite being given heavy medications, doctors eventually determined Chase was not a threat and released him to his parents in 1976. Chase's mother took him off his prescribed antipsychotic medications against medical advice. Chase's folks set him up in a small apartment, big mistake. He spiraled, torturing and killing stray animals, drinking their blood, and even bragging to neighbors about it. Obsessed with guns and the hillside strangler, he believed in a Nazi UFO conspiracy against him. Neglecting hygiene, he dropped to 145 pounds. He once showed up at his mother's with a dead cat, smearing its blood on himself while ranting. In August 1977, police found Chase's car with bloody clothes, rifles, and a bucket of organs. He was naked, covered in blood, and ranting. By December 1977, he fired a shot into a woman's home, a prelude to his later murders. December 29, 1977, was when Chase really kicked off his killing spree. The twisted son of a gun popped off his first victim in a drive-by, probably just getting warmed up for the real grotesque floor show he had planned. The unlucky stiff was Ambrose Griffin, a 51-year-old working Joe, just a regular family man helping his wife lug in the groceries. No way he could have seen the maniac's bullet coming. One of Griffin's kids spotted a neighbor prowling around the East Sacramento streets that week, packing a .22 rifle. The cops seized the neighbor's rifle, but it didn't match the slug that iced poor Griffin. Turned out the same .22 that smoked the family man was the one he used 2 days earlier to put a bullet through some woman's kitchen, just an appetizer before the main course of Chase's killing rampage. The real meat and potatoes was yet to come from this deranged psycho. The day after murdering Ambrose Griffin and giving him his walking papers to the afterlife, Chase forced a neighbor to give him cigarettes. 2 weeks later, He tried breaking into a woman's home, but the doors were locked. He believed unlocked doors invited entry. He encountered an acquaintance, Nancy Holden, who refused him a ride due to his disturbing appearance. He broke into a home, stole valuables, urinated in a child's dresser, defecated on their bed, and fled when the husband returned. At the Wallen home, Chase shot and killed the pregnant Teresa Wallen. He then mutilated, sexually violated, and cannibalized Teresa Wallen's corpse in gruesome ways. 2 days after the Wallen murder, he killed 2 puppies, drank their blood, and left the bodies on a neighbor's lawn. On January 27th, he committed a mass murder at the Miroth home, killing Dan Meredith, 6-year-old Jason Miroth, and 22-month-old David Miroth. He shot Evelyn Miroth, then sodomized her corpse and drank her blood. He repeatedly stabbed her, consuming blood from her organs. He cracked open David's skull and ate some brain matter. Startled by a girl arriving for a playdate, he stole Meredith's car and fled. Police found Chase's bloody prints at the scene. He took David's corpse home, used his severed penis as a straw to drink blood, consumed organs, and made smoothies from remains before dumping the body near a church. After the Wallen murder, FBI profilers determined the killer was a malnourished, tall loner, lacking hygiene who would continue killing. 5 days later, Nancy Holden tipped off police that Richard Chase could be the killer. Police found he had a registered .22 caliber gun. They arrested him, leaving his apartment with a blood-stained box containing shredded bloody wallpaper and the murder weapon. He claimed it was from killing dogs. A search of his apartment revealed it was covered in blood. Walls, floors, utensils. His blender had rotting organs and coagulated blood. The fridge contained wrapped human remains like brains and organs from victims. On his table were diagrams detailing human anatomy, suggesting a disturbing blueprint for his crimes. The bloody evidence and remains at the apartment scene horrified investigators. 1979 rolled around, and Chase was on trial for pumping 6 unlucky people full of lead. His defense argued he was mentally ill and the killings unpremeditated to avoid the death penalty, but he was found guilty of first-degree murder. A judge rejected an insanity plea at a clemency hearing and sentenced Chase to execution by gas chamber. On death row, other inmates feared Chase's notorious crimes and tried convincing him to commit suicide rather than approach him. Chase gave delusional interviews claiming he killed due to Nazis and UFOs. He also thought if he had a ray gun, he could kill the aliens. On December 26, 1980, Chase committed suicide by overdosing on hoarded antidepressants. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Radio Mind. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Your support is invaluable and truly helps us grow. Stay tuned for more engaging content, and until next time, be safe, and remember, don't let everyday stresses kill your spirit and imagination.